Okay, hi everybody. In this video we're going to look at how to sequence using audio. So we're going to look at making a drum beat with audio samples, sort of why you do that and how you do it. So first off, we'll have a look at how we do it. Now, you'll see in this project here I've created 4 audio tracks, and I'm going to just do a simple sort of kick, snare, and a couple of hi-hats. Now, sequencing with audio, you're going to have access to the grid in a very, very similar way to how you would with MIDI. So as I zoom in the arrangement area up here, it'll start to show me my individual beats. So within this first bar that I've looped, I've got bar 1 beat 2, bar 1 beat 3, and bar 1 beat 4. It's then splitting that down into my 16th divisions. But what I could also do is go into custom here and swap it into 32s if that's what's needed. I'm going to leave it with 16ths for now though. Now, so one of the main benefits I find when working with audio is that you get a lot more preview options. So there's a couple of ways that I access my samples. One is by pressing F for files within Logic. And if I go to all files, I've then got this. So I've got my home location as my master samples folder. Within here, if I go into samples from Ian, drums and percussion, drum samples. I'm just going to use the Dance Kit 2. So within here I can actually click on them and preview the audio. If it's a bit loud you can just turn it down there. Another way that you could do this is actually in your Finder. So again I'll go to the same place, samples from Ian, drums percussion, drum samples, Dance Kit 2. If you just click on them and press space, you can get a preview. So you can quite quickly and easily work out what sample you want. So one of the benefits I find with audio samples and different drum kits and different drum and percussion packs is that it gives me a lot more freedom to find the exact sounds that I want. And it's a lot quicker as well. You know, you might spend quite a lot of time going through the library, going through all the different drums and percussion sounds, to then activate them, put them on, play with the keyboard, see which parts you like. And let's say, for instance, you like the drum kit from the kick drum from 1, but you don't like the snares. You're going to have a couple of different MIDI channels open. Whereas with audio, I just find it streamlines the process a little bit. So I'll tell you what, for example here, I'm going to use this tick, this kind of closed hi-hat sound. But then I'm going to go to a different drum kit to select the snare. Ooh, quite like that one. I'm going to pick a different hi-hat from a different kit. Now another benefit of using audio samples is that we can sort of adjust the individual sounds. If I find that they're a little bit too long, I might shrink them down, use my fade tool, put a little bit of a fade on the end of them. So let's have a listen to that closed hi-hat now. Still perhaps a little bit long. There we go. And then we're just simply moving it around the grid, lining it up with all the grid lines, just as we would if we were using MIDI. And what I'm using here is Alt and dragging things around just to copy them. Wicked, so I've got a bit of a drum beat in there. Now I'll show you some other things that we can do using audio that are just not options with MIDI. But first off, let's just cover how we would recreate like velocity editing. So what I do is click on the individual samples. In my track inspector area here, I've got the region options. And then I've got my gain selection there. So I'm just going to go and edit the individual gains of these hi-hats where they're double hitting so that they're not too robotic. I'm going to take a copy of this full track and show you something else that I can do with audio. Just going to pop these into the spaces in between. Tell you what, I'm going to use some 32s here. Just do a little bit of copying around. Now on these, I'm going to add some pitch into them. Let's just put them in a place where we can really hear them. There we go. Now again, in this region area, I can use my transpose here, just grab into the grey space and pull them up. So I've got this first one, it's normal pitch. The second one is +2 semitones. And the third one is +4 semitones. So you can get all these sort of trappy, new age hip hop sort of hi-hat swells and rolls and that sort of a thing. Beautiful. So another couple of things you can do with audio. Let's just create a new track. I'm going to take a copy of one of these snares. I'm going to reverse it. So within this region area, the more button at the bottom, we can reverse it. Now be careful, when you have reversed something, you need to line up the end of the sample with where it needs to be. So we've got a nice little reverse swell there at the end. Now within Logic, unfortunately, you can't transpose and reverse at the same time. Just a little bit of a sort of funny feature of Logic. Well, let's have a look at another couple of things we can do. So I'm going to take a copy of these kicks. Just going to offset them. And I'm going to transpose them up pretty high. So we can get some pretty cool, unique, new sounds. Wicked. So that is a very basic overview of some of the features of sequencing with audio. This is my go-to method for sequencing, particularly drums, because, like I said, at this point, I've got, you know, we can probably see it here, I've got a fairly big selection of audio samples, and I find that a lot of the time, particularly with the kicks, they hit so much harder than the Logic drum kits. So quite often what I might do is do my upper percussion, my hi-hats, snares, etc. in a MIDI drum kit, but then just do my kick drum with audio samples, or sometimes the whole thing, and then just, you know, additional elements are done using MIDI drum kits. Well worth playing with, and you can get some very cool results, you know, with them extra features, the transposing, reversing, etc. Enjoy.